And we are coming down in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Getting Sports with Junk. I'm your host, is Cupcake the Riddler, and I'm joined by
Mark.
Sheen Washable.
No.
Nope.
And that's it.
And the Red Baron, who has properties of a frozen pizza.
Now, Mark, since you're not machine washable every week, are you in fact dishwasher safe?
I mean, I think he is.
No.
Moving on.
A nice resounding silence from the room.
Listen, just because this guy eats his watermelon right out of the microwave.
Hey, you got to really get it hot.
Gotta get it to a slurry, a nice hot slurry.
If it ain't boiling. Have you guys ever heard like the salt on watermelon thing?
Yeah.
I have. I've not had it,
I've
though.
never done it, but it's supposed to be good.
It makes it juicier.
Interesting.
Well, which is weird.
Pretty juicy.
Well, which is weird because the whole concentration of mass thing, you can't create mass that's not already there. So the juice is already there, but the salt because if you put something if you put an egg yolk in a tub of salt, it'll dehydrate it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So really all it does is it kind of just I guess it really just kind of does more foreplay work.
I like the sound of that.
Kind of just gets the watermelon a little damper.
I'm already pretty aroused while I eat.
Really explaining that to someone, be like, no, I'm trying to make this shit wet.
I tell you, the vet move for summer: sprinkle a tiny bit of salt on some watermelon and squeeze a lime wedge on it.
I like the sound of that.
To be honest, I'm kind of out on that.
Why?
I don't care for limes.
Oh. Limes are good.
Limes are delicious.
I'm just, not a fan.
I just hooked it up at the store this weekend with a couple of Tostitos hint of lime chips.
Those are awful.
No way.
That is a trash chip.
Come on.
I tell you what, I could pretty much eat 5 whole limes.
It's one of my favorite things to do, when we go out to restaurants or bars, and it's always good for a cheap laugh when I eat the entire just brine.
Yeah.
I tell you, who laughs hard at that 10 out of 10 times?
Who's that?
My wife. Every time she'll be like, Ken, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with you.
And then it's kind of like it snowballs. You do one, and then you end up having 4 or 5 more.
Be like, hey, guess what? Now you're going to eat this olive I found on the ground.
Have you guys ever seen Brazilian lemonade be made?
I have not.
So Brazilian lemonade is not lemons, it's limes.
So it's limeade?
But it's not because it's Brazilian. It's exotic, Mark. Come on.
Well, I'm just asking. What do they do? Fucking
limeade is a Sonic thing.
Meat in it?
Yeah. So you get 5 to 6 ounces of chuck roast. No, so it's basically just ice, limes, and sweetened condensed milk, and it gets blended together, and it's actually really good. I've had it because the sweetened condensed milk makes it it makes it creamier, but you also don't need to add sugar to it at that point. But it's really funny watching it be prepared because you're just you need a Vitamix or a real high profile, high motor, sharp bladed blender because you just put whole limes in, rind and all.
A spoon isn't getting the job done here.
You need something sharp because you're cutting through the whole part of the lime. And I've watched several people make it with forgetting that there's stickers on produce.
Ooh, that would be a bummer.
You never eaten a sticker?
Yes.
We call that a Kendall in our vocabulary.
It's true.
There's a pretty funny bit from It's Always Sunny with that. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there's an episode where Charlie's never eaten a pear. So they stop at like an Italian like flea market for him to eat a pear.
They're on the way to go somewhere, right?
They're on their way to the Grand Canyon,
Yeah.
and he eats the pear, and he's like, "It's gross." He's like, "What?" And then when he looks back, he ate the whole pear. Mac's like, "The sticker." He's like, "I eat stickers all the time." He's like, "I can't be going around checking things for stickers."
That is a funny bit. They never even get out of Philadelphia.
Nope, never make it out.
Hey, do you guys think Kyle has tried the Mountain Dew Hard yet? The hard Mountain Dews that are out now?
No, because Kyle only drinks with us.
That's true. Have you seen those?
I have seen them. I mean, I remember a few years ago they came out with like the Not Your Father's whatever.
Yeah, no, but this is like Mountain Dew branded.
Yeah.
They have like hard Baja Blast, hard Code Red, and like hard regular.
I think if he gets that, he's gonna instantly go and buy a dirt bike.
I mean, it is miraculous. Like, I really wish that like Jeff and Kyle could change names because I mean, Jeff is a quintessential Kyle.
Yeah.
I mean, Monster Energy drink, cigarettes, cowboy boots.
And he used to do the chin strap.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Oh man, we need to get Jeff and Kyle to switch names and convince Jeff or future Kyle to be a Cowboys fan.
I will say though, those cowboy boots are really just pilgrim shoes. It's like a leather galosh.
Whoa.
Oh, what do we have?
Hello?
Soulsy boy.
Hola?
Attempting to join the fold.
Bienvenidos.
Oh man, Paul, you know what made me laugh yesterday? I think it was yesterday. I was just watching Family Guy as I was doing the laundry. And I'm pretty sure you sent the link or the clip in, I don't know if it was our Instagram chat or whatever. But when Chris is doing the quinceañera dresses, he's like, "Are you feeling bonita?" that made me chuckle real hard. It's like, are you or are you not feeling bonita? He's like, I feel bonita.
Well, I guess we should get to Toast of Excellence while we wait for Kyle to chime in.
I have.
All right.
Kendall?
My toast was on Saturday, this past Saturday. The Mets honored Bartolo Colon for the 7th anniversary of hitting his home run. Threw out the first pitch. Still got it.
That guy just, like, I follow him on Instagram. That guy just posts, like, every other day of him throwing fucking 98, or not 98, totally 78 mile per hour, like, pitches, like, into a pitching net, but, like, in his living room.
Yeah.
There was a while, like, right after he retired, he was playing in, like, a Twilight League somewhere.
I think he still is.
He's playing.
I tell you, I would sign up for that.
He plays in adult league in Puerto Rico. He plays in a lot of adult leagues in Puerto Rico.
It's like, bring it on, you fat shit.
And then he takes you fucking deep.
I think that it would end up with me getting hit by a pitch, and I wouldn't care for that.
Right at the hip level, too.
Yeah. Do some real damage.
Especially, it's not slow pitch.
No.
Yes.
Oh!
Souls.
Souls.
Do I sound right?
You sound beautiful.
I mean, you sound like that frog from Fraggle Rock.
His boots.
Because I don't have my thing in, so.
Your penis?
Yeah.
I took it off today.
Just a goddamn Mr. Potato Head over here.
Mrs. Potato Head to you.
Whoa.
It's 2023. They're just potato head now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, you can't even really call them potatoes.
Spuds.
Yeah, they're non-binary rooted vegetables, and even vegetable isn't PC anymore. It offends the capable community.
Dora.
That would be a funny
God,
bit.
did you do that? Did you do that because I sang your name that way?
Yes.
Soulsy the Explorer.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Kyle.
This is your captain speaking.
Oh,
Please,
that's just wrong.
please leave your name, number, and address. We'll get back to you after the beat.
Dude, that'd be a really weird way to start a flight.
Your name, number, and address. Like, no, thank you, sir.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah, no, you have to. I
Mark,
am
you
a
have a
pilot.
toast?
Well, and I did. I got to pull it back up here.
Kyle, do you have one at the ready?
What was that?
Do you have a toast at the ready?
I have a toast.
Okay.
It is to. I don't have one.
All right.
My toast, because I just pulled it up again, is to Derek Jeter and his wife welcoming, I believe it's their first son. I'm going to say it wrong, but I think it's pronounced Caius Green Jeter on Friday.
Yeah, it's pronounced Caillou. S is silent.
This is silent.
The kid is already slated to be the worst shortstop defensively of all time.
I got a toast. If Paul didn't do it already.
Well, I mean, if it's for my team, then don't do it.
Okay.
I mean, that's just mean.
I just didn't know if you
Hey,
went
Kyle,
yet.
how about you do the one that I got out dibsed for?
Yeah, Massey's not here. You know the thing on your team.
What happened to my team?
You know the guy that won that trophy.
I don't care about him. My toast is to Bryce Harper for hitting a home run off his Tommy John injury.
All
My
right.
toast,
They
is for the,
suck.
my toast is for the baseball player hitting a baseball.
Nah, it's a Joel Embiid for winning NBA MVP.
My toast of excellence is to the Chicago Blackhawks for getting the number 1 overall pick in the draft this year, and basically setting themselves as the winner of the Connor Bedard sweepstakes.
Nice.
I think they didn't take him.
I also have a toast. It's to this sub account that links themselves to funny hood videos.
Yep.
They just randomly throw naked women on my Instagram feed while I'm talking to my wife. So it's cool. You never know when you're going to open up your phone and just sleep on the couch.
Hey, did something change we don't know about?
What?
What do you mean?
I don't know. Paul said wife.
Oh yeah, we got married.
I tell you, for some reason, I would get yelled at for that.
Oh, here's the thing. I've already told Samantha if we decide to just say fuck it and go to like a town hall thing and not tell anybody, I was like, the minute we start the service, like the ceremony thing or whatever, with the justice of the peace at the town hall or whatever, however it's like officially done, I was like, the minute it starts, I'm texting Mock that it's happening so that he knew before it happened.
Yeah. That's a really cool thing to do.
And then she'll be like,
It would really go over well here.
yeah, I could just see the volcano erupting. I couldn't even imagine the
It'd
conversation.
be pretty bad.
You
knew? Be like, barely.
I'd say it'd be really funny too, like if I like really made it like elaborate, like I broke into his car like on the way there and put like an invitation in an envelope opened in his passenger seat.
Save the date today.
like addressed it to them with a stamp and everything, so it looks like he got it in the mail and just didn't bring it in the house. Oh man. Or better yet, how mad do you think she'd be if we did it, but we invited like everybody came in the family, but we didn't tell her and you?
Oh man,
Are you kidding?
violence.
Oh,
Although that would probably get me off the hook.
I already thought of a way to put you back on the hook. Ready for this one, Kendall?
I'm ready.
We tell everybody except Marissa and Mock, and then I convince Mock to meet me at Luff for a round of disc golf, and then we get married at Luff.
That would be so funny, just in that parking lot.
Everybody's there. He shows up with the disc golf bag. It's like, all right, hurry up, run up here. You got to stand up at the altar. You're marrying us.
Yeah, and then to boot, he's the one doing the ceremony.
He's officiating it.
Like, oh, you're my 515?
Can you imagine that text message? Like, Marissa, I'm going to be home a little later than expected. I just married Paul and Samantha in front of your family.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
Pick up milk.
Yeah. I'm not going to be home for dinner. Take out the chicken. Oh, so funny.
I'm telling
yeah, I'm really
you, ate
glad
all
the
that
Blackhawks.
pasta real fast. Feel like shit.
I'm really glad the Blackhawks won the toast of won the sweepstakes because I forgot to make a toast of excellence, and then that popped up on my phone right when we started.
Good bailout.
Funny? You asked me if I had a toast, and I would look down at my phone, and I was like, I could say this, but I figured I shouldn't.
Starting lineups. Is anybody drinking anything?
Well, I am,
Water.
of course. I have
Okay, I
Via.
just heard everybody's voice at once.
Sounds like Souls is having some water.
Some agua de Piedro.
See. I have a.
I have a Guinness.
Ooh. Good.
What do you got
day
from
for
some shit
Guinness.
company, dude?
What?
Come on, let's hear it.
I have Via the Riddler, a Molson Canadian.
Shocker.
You know, Kyle, you didn't have to say anything, and you chose to, so you're a dick.
Can you say dick? Sono con dick.
Yo panizo paquit. I am drinking. I am sampling the new line of spritzes called Dolola, the new Jennifer Lopez inspired drink. Sampling for work.
Is anyone else feeling a little hot right now?
We're getting cardboard cutouts.
You don't say.
Yep, it's going to be really weird though, and it's just going to be her with Derek Jeter, Alex Rodriguez, and Ben Affleck.
Well, that's too bad, because I was going to say, Jay Cutler does need a wife.
That'd be so funny. What do you got downstairs? Jay Cutler and Jennifer Lopez, the way it should be.
Yeah, I got a couple living in my
You've been
basement.
spending a lot of time downstairs.
It's like, Kendall, I've noticed that ever since I got you that J-Lo cutout, you've been downstairs a lot, and for some reason, Jay Cutler's facing the corner. And Gruden just keeps bobbing.
It's weird. It's bent in half at the waist, but the other way.
Why is it so damp?
Yeah, you're going to need a dehumidifier down there for sure.
I tell you what, that'd be a real funny thing to do. Imagine we just, like, Kendall comes home from work and we just got Alexa Bliss cutouts everywhere in the house.
Honestly, and really not even, I think he would faint. Because for sure he would think the first one's real.
Not going to lie to you, I searched the fathead.
Kendall, here's a question, and it's like a if you know kind of thing. But, like, Kendall, your wife is the queen of office supplies. So how many Alexa Bliss photos have you laminated?
I haven't done that. Nothing like that. There's been
Anybody
So
not believe him?
You're just spilling and tossing.
I'm not printing anything out. As it is, we don't have any paper in the house. I printed today's show on a piece of lined paper.
Why did you print it?
I just like to have a copy of the note.
This isn't a fucking board meeting.
That is to me.
Well, I'm bored.
Aha.
All right.
So.
I
Oh.
Awesome, like soundboard button.
Feel free to start the discussion on whichever topic. I'll be right back. I just have to step away for a second.
No problem. Well, Mark, you weren't on last week, but we started doing best thing that happened to you this weekend. This weekend. Anything that was, if you could summarize your weekend, what's the best thing that happened to you?
Well, let me think. This was last night. I had to have Tyler come over to help me move a desk. And what should have taken 20 minutes took about an hour and a half.
Always the best.
And, there was that. But no, actually, I believe it was Saturday. I was talking to Paul about it. I went, and I think I shot my second best score at Loughbury.
Oh, yeah?
Followed on Sunday by a bad score.
What'd you shoot Saturday?
Saturday was 2 under.
Oh, nice. And I can never remember. What's the course?
Par there, I think, is 56.
If
Where?
memory serves. At Loughbury.
Yes, 56.
And then followed that up with a round the next day that was not as good.
Hey, still though, second best.
And here's what was bullshit. Ken, I'll tell you what happened Sunday. Because I kind of give me and Paul a pass for having a not great round on Sunday. We get stuck behind this one foursome that, whatever, they're not playing super fast, which is fine. But they're also not letting us go. And it was almost, we'd be walking up to the tee pad, and they'd all tee. And it's like, all right, what the fuck? And we got to stand there and wait. And then eventually Paul's just like, hey, can we fucking play through? So they let us go through. Then we get stuck behind this other group of 5 people. And again, not playing very fast. You guys are familiar with the course. So, hole 14, I watched the guy throw it 4 times before he got to the top of the hill. Didn't let us go. So we're just watching these fucking guys. So that was annoying.
Oh, man.
What
Sorry,
do
I was watching
What's that?
sports highlight. Do you guys, Kyle probably does. Do you guys know this guy, Badu, on the Tigers?
Yeah.
So he's stealing first, right? Or stealing first. He's stealing second. And in the pursuit, the catcher for the Guardians goes to throw to second, and he throws it a little bit right. And the second baseman, it's just out of his reach, and it just fucking nails him in the beanbag as he's sliding into second.
Do you guys remember, similar to that, do you remember, I think it was Scotty, what the hell's the guy's name? Piscotti or something. He's got a weird name.
Scott Piscotti.
Yeah.
Got it?
He got hit, he got hit by a pitch to get on first, and then running to second, they try and throw him out at second. He gets hit by the ball there, and then he's running to third. He gets hit by the ball running to third. And then the same thing, as he's running home, he got hit. So, the whole way around the bases, guy got hit at each base.
Yeah, I do remember that. It was awful.
I did see what I think. I mean, it's unconfirmed. I'll have to find out somehow. But I'm pretty sure I watched a guy blow his knee out right in front of me.
Ooh.
And I'm going to be, I didn't care for it.
That's a rough witness.
This was Sunday morning, had a softball game, and I'm coaching first. And there's a guy, never met him before, new to the squad. He gets on first, and a little bloop fly ball towards right center. So it was one of those things where you can't take off because he might catch it, but if you don't run, then you're stuck, and he drops it. So
Gotta go
it's
halfway.
kind of no man's land. So he goes halfway, but the guy ends up catching it and throws. So he tries to get back to first quick enough, kind of overshoots it, plants to cut back, and you just heard the, and down he went.
Yeah, that's
So
a bummer.
I'm coaching for. I looked down and I was like, "Hey, are you good? Because I'm gonna throw up."
Somebody get this man some help.
And he wasn't good. I'll
Wait,
have
so
to
what
follow
happened?
up on
I
that.
kind of missed it. What
I'm
happened?
sorry.
I
A
missed what
guy
happened.
on the team in West Haven.
Yeah.
Was caught he kind of went halfway on a short fly ball. The guy ends up catching it, throws back to first, and the guy, when he went to go back, kind of overstepped the bag. So when he planted to turn back around, his knee popped and he started screaming.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was not cool.
You should have poked it.
How's
And
that?
the thing that always makes, not that it makes me laugh, but like in those situations, because there is always for sure going to be one guy that's like, so what happened? You know, like, hey, are you all right? Like, yeah, I'm just on the ground screaming for my own benefit here.
Yeah. Figured I'd give this a go.
But so that happened.
How about you, Souls? You have a best thing that happened to you this weekend?
Oh,
All right, that's the spirit.
I'll have one next weekend though.
All right.
Why is that?
1 year,
Oh,
1 year anniversary.
No.
can I tell you something? And I was trying to think of what that could be, and I was like, I don't even know what he's. I forgot your wedding was in May.
Year went by fast.
I'm like, 1 year? What? Like, Bryce Harper's been on the Phillies for longer than 1 year.
It was a little ominous the way he said it. Like, 1 year.
Yeah, that's on Saturday. It's my 1 year anniversary.
Well, early congratulations then.
Shut up, Kendall.
Thank you.
Are you gonna just wake up and just dap Bianca up?
That's exactly what I'm gonna do.
Hey, we made it.
Yeah, let's end this.
Should have a few naughty nurses.
We should.
I'd be down.
We gotta go. We gotta go to the venue though.
Massey could have a
Wow.
drink out of the, or
Toilet.
hold up, well, that too, but hold up, like, I think of nuts.
Yeah, he always got the snacks.
That was a good day though. That was a good day.
That it was.
Are you gonna listen to all the Spanish music?
No, we're gonna drink a lot and not eat anything.
Also a good plan. I've done that.
Yeah, we did it that day, dude.
Hey, if you need a Spanish TV star, I can hook you up.
Christian.
So what
He
about
knows.
you? The best thing that happened to you this weekend?
Best thing that happened to me. Well,
Yeah,
well, sometimes. Well, it's bulk pickup this weekend, so I get to smash some stuff, which I always really enjoy. I get to kind of finish the job on a chair that I previously destroyed when I was mad. So,
Was that the chair after when you were at my house?
bingo. So we said goodbye to that chair.
So when you say bulk pickup, that means you just leave a pile of shit in front of your house?
Yep, that's how that goes.
Well, why do you have to smash it?
Oh, I just did it for my own enjoyment.
Oh, you get to smash it.
Yeah. I mean, it was more so like, oh, this is going to be garbage anyway. Let me be a douche.
I'm sure the garbage man really loves that.
Well, they just come in with a trailer, so it doesn't. It's all the same to them.
Well, you figure instead of picking up one chair, now you have to pick up 10 pieces of chair.
Well, I still kept it in the pile. It didn't like splinter into a million pieces. It just kind of broke away at the legs. How about you, Paul?
What?
Best thing that happened?
Well, I jerked off.
Twice.
Lucky.
Yeah, it was once while we were waiting for a foursome to get through at Loughbury.
Literally how slow they were.
No, I mean, I think the best thing that happened to me this weekend was what constitutes the weekend, Saturday and Sunday?
Friday night.
That's just because you want me to say meeting your kid.
No. I think to me the weekend begins at 5 o'clock on Friday.
Let me tell you something. Meeting miniature Jacob didn't do anything for me. No, I mean, meeting Charlotte probably would top that list, Kendall.
Oh, well, thank you.
Watching Rebecca be really calm and collected and you freaking out about every little thing.
Hey,
You know,
Hell, yeah.
usually the way it go. Oh, and my phone also did this cool thing where it re-downloaded like 70 apps that I've downloaded and deleted over the past decade, which was really cool. And so Kendall, you might remember this. Guess what re-downloaded on my phone?
Adult Friend Finder.
For left. Plague Inc.
Oh, yeah.
The game where you end the world.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I forgot. So I re-downloaded it with all my saved progress, and I spent quite a few times destroying the planet with COVID-19. I did what the Chinese couldn't. Put an end to it.
That's my boy.
Yeah, and Kyle, just for you, one of them got named Gilberto, and it was a fungal disease that started in Puerto Rico.
Nice. I'm more mad. You know what? I'm better not saying it.
All right.
It's a weird way to say something.
Yeah, I just realized I get kicked off the air for it, so.
No, we have the cancel section of our chat. You'll be fine.
What is it? I need to know now.
I will explain it to you off air. All right, I'll text it to you.
I saw this the other day, Souls, and it made me laugh real hard. I think I was talking to Paul about it. But you know how you really don't like the Whopper song?
Yeah.
Dude, I heard it in Spanish the other day, and it made me laugh so hard.
Well,
Just because our joke is that you're Spanish now, and it was the Whopper. Like, it really just tickled me. I laughed so hard for like 5 minutes.
Kyle, you could say that. They're not listening.
we're better than the Chinese.
Could you imagine if our stream just cut?
Oh my God, they're here.
So they're like, oh, we showed you Wappa Wappa.
I'm not gonna lie, that might be worse than what Kyle said.
All right. Well, that's it then, right? We're signing off.
Yeah, I've had just about enough.
Yeah, I don't want to talk to Kyle anymore.
You know what always makes me laugh? I think at least one of us has made that joke every week since we've started the podcast. That might be our longest running thing.
And somehow still always funny.
It always gets like a
just like that.
it's like a Kendall, cheap laugh. Eat a fucking lime brine.
I will. I absolutely will.
All right, now imagine a whole candy campaign where it's just whooper, 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 whooper.
Paul, I have a question for you for shot trivia.
All right.
So hopefully,
before you start, I would like to, because we didn't get a chance. Hey, so I know in the past, like it was more fun when we were at Maple doing shot trivia. This is to Mock and Kyle. I know it was more fun like when we could kind of like use the kitchen to kind of create something gross on the spot, versus like making a concoction of some gross shit in a bottle and letting it sit. So other than like when we do like live in person shows, we could like maybe kind of bring that like weird thing back with the kitchen stuff or whatever. But like if I were to like get a free bottle from work of like the stuff I like to drink, would you guys keep it in the house? Like, and if we did like shot trivia, like we could do like a roundabout, and if you get it wrong, you just take a shot of that instead.
Yeah.
Like if I got
prefer that than the food things again.
Huh?
I would prefer to not eat or drink the food things again.
Well, we're definitely doing those again in person at one point. Those are just. I'm also working on for whenever we can get all of us together. I'm working on making signature cocktails for each of you, themed to you.
Kyle, yours is going to be spicy.
Be Opa.
I'm in.
Yeah, so when we do that show, when we start that podcast without Kendall, that's when we'll do it.
Damn.
Don't tell him the title; he'll steal it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
You ain't kidding.
When we do our bocce
Kids are
podcast.
rad.
Anyhow,
I tell you, speaking of bocce, I'm trying hard to convince my father-in-law to take the horseshoe pits out and put in a fucking bocce court.
Very cool.
then
We were kind of talking, and I was like, I am so in for that.
make it convertible.
Well, the horseshoe pits are kind of, unused anymore. And it's also a game that's only fun for like 40 seconds.
Or no seconds if Eric and Jimmy are there.
It's one of those things where I just want to throw them a couple times. Like, that's all I want to do. I just want to throw, maybe six horseshoes and then eat a hot dog.
I think that means that we should just plan on going to Community Lake one day and just throw them in the basketball court for a while. Then we could leave.
No. Page Park. They got the asphalt horseshoe pits.
Oh. I mean, I was just thinking we just throw them just onto the concrete.
Just get them high.
Yeah. For the sound. All right, Paul, you ready?
Yeah.
I'm also ready.
All right. Kyle is throwing his hat in the ring. All right. What is the minimum bottle proofing for bourbon?
12.
Right on the money there, Kyle. Good for you.
Don't lie to me.
Sorry. You did a bad job.
Thanks, man.
You're welcome.
Dumb question, though.
I'm sorry you feel that way.
All gone.
Hello?
Hello.
I don't know what happened.
Well, I'm glad you're back.
I guess
He has to.
option C, right? That's always the course.
That's right.
All right, I'm ready.
Oh, do you need the question?
I didn't hear the question.
Okay, no problem. Okay. What is the minimum bottling proof for bourbon?
Wow, Kendall, really going you're going all out there, huh?
Yeah, I was excited about it.
Now, what made you go this one?
Just because I feel like you have a pretty good knowledge of things in that regard, and you may or may not know.
You looked up good bourbon questions.
I did go on a page like that, Kyle, but that wasn't exactly what I searched.
Now, are we talking generic bourbon or Kentucky straight bottled and bond bourbon?
I got to be honest, I don't know.
So generic?
I would say generic.
All right, so then it would be 80 proof.
That is correct.
Yeah, bourbon can't be bottled less than 80 proof, but Kentucky bottled and bond straight bourbon can't be bottled at less than 117.
Well, there you have it. So Paul, you dodged the shot, and you can bottle that shot away.
Haha, Mock, you have to lick my nuts now.
Whoa.
It's in the contract. Read the fine print.
Does that
Don't just
mean I
agree to-
won or lost the bet?
That's up to you, man. Just stop agreeing to terms and services before you read them. When you signed up when you agreed to Apple iTunes in 2008, it was in there. It said, "We'll have to lick one future friend's sack."
And who knew in 2008?
Huh?
What?
Is it and it's Massey's?
And it's Massey's.
Where is Massey?
He's a little under the weather.
He got up at 8, so he's probably just done having breakfast. And
He had
then
to flip the crock pot around.
and the bus
I
will
wish
be coming.
I should have followed up on how his Asabuco was last week.
He ended up bailing and making something else.
Oh,
I don't remember exactly what he made. It looked pretty good, though.
you know what's awesome? I've never had Asabuco, but I love saying it.
The Office. The
I mean,
Office. All right.
Do some book reports.
Sure.
I didn't read any books this week.
No books. Well, Kyle, do you want to lead us off?
No, I'll go second, though.
Let's see here. Let me pull up what I found.
Mark, you going first?
Oh, I mean, if you're ready.
All right. Well, I guess I am ready. So I don't know what the best way to do this in the thread. I don't know if I just share the URL, is that just going to give you guys? So I wish Matthew was here, because Matthew would tell me like that I'm doing it wrong, and then show me 10 ways to do it better.
I'd be like, look here, dumbass.
I have my shot trivia for Kendall.
Ooh, all right.
All right, Kendall. What's the average capacity for a rail car in pounds?
Ooh, God.
I believe it's who cares?
I was also thinking that.
Rail car in pounds.
I'll give you a plus minus of
3 pounds.
I'll give you a plus minus of 10,000 pounds.
I feel like I have no idea.
You're not
like trains.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even like bourbon. I do it for a living, and I knew the answer. You've traveled upward of 12 hours by car to watch these things.
This is true. This is very true. All right. Best guess.
You're not a real fair econologist, Kendall.
Let's go 30,000 pounds.
The correct answer was 220,000.
All right, so I was right there if I had a couple more chances.
You just missed the plus minus of 10,000.
Yeah. All right.
It's funnier to me that it's not how far off you were. It's that you don't really have an understanding of how plus minuses work. Because if your plus minus was 10,000 pounds, the answer is not 30,000.
Well, to be honest, I spent too much time thinking about how tonnage works and what ton to pound was, and I just couldn't figure it out.
You're not a real ferroequinologist.
There are many aspects of being a rail fan that I'm not gonna like. I'm not like a rivet counter. I'm not gonna be there and like those are like the worst kind of like hobbyists. Like
I'm just saying that sounded like a racial slur.
Well, since I did
Yeah, you
lose,
just call people hobbies.
Kendall, if it makes you feel better, any better, if you had said 30 tons, you still wouldn't have been close.
well, that shows you my ability to math.
I believe a ton is 2,000 pounds, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's 110 tons.
Okay.
So you were still off.
Well, be that as it may, I lost shot trivia, and I'll be having a shot of this Maestro Dobel Diamante Reposado Tequila.
Kendall, it's also 1,527.77 grosses.
Ooh. Now, it was just generic. It didn't specify style of car, right? Just what, like an average?
Also approximately 17,000 baker's dozens.
Kendall, do you think the type of car would have made the difference for you there?
No, I was just
you were
curious.
Off by about 200,000.
No. I would have not got the answer correct. I was just curious if there was more specificity.
This says here. Where is it? I had it right here. There you go. It says, oh, no, wrong one. It says the average stupid rail car can hold a useless amount of 220,000 pounds. While it does vary by specific type of product, it's accurate for a vast majority of items hauled.
Okay. Well, I didn't care for your Mad Libs there, but
it also does say that it also says that less carbon emissions would be used if it was done by boat.
It depends.
Reach.
It also says it would be cooler looking.
Okay, let's move on.
It also says here that 9/11 wouldn't have happened if trains didn't exist.
I'd like to discuss my article now.
Train impact terrorists.
It is not.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I wanted to discuss my Metropolitans. So this article is from
Kendall, I'm going to interrupt you here. I found another fun fact about trains. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'll give you a redemption at shot trivia, double or nothing to me. So if you get if you get it right, I have to do 4 shots. But if you get it wrong, you have to do 1.
Okay.
How many adult male hippos does a Tier 4 locomotive weigh?
It's more weight questions, and I don't know what their definition of a Tier 4 locomotive is. I don't know what that means.
It says it's a 6-axle engine with 4,400 traction horsepower with a max speed of 70 miles per hour.
All right, so we're talking kind of in the realm of your SD70s and ES44s.
Yeah, sure. About adult male hippos does it weigh? I'll give you a plus minus of 10.
76.
108.
Damn.
Do another
It's
shot.
like that meme where it's like Americans will use anything other than the metric system.
My favorite one is the one where like it's the constructing the house, and it's like the local lumber yard was like Dixon and Sons or whatever, but it cut off at Dick's, so it was just like 108 Dicks, and it was like they will use anything but the metric system.
I know Paul has seen it. Have you guys seen this new like John Cena meme?
Oh, so
Oh, the dancing?
Oh my god, that makes me laugh so fucking hard.
All right, shot 2.
All right, Kendall, triple or nothing.
Oh boy. Got a bad track record on this.
Kendall's gonna pee his daughter's bed.
And not cool. All right.
In a
I hate it here.
In a typical year, how many tons of freight do railroads haul?
Oh my God.
I'll give you a plus minus. I'll give you a plus minus of 350 million.
I mean, 108 hippos? I don't know. I have no idea.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead with your article.
All right. So
Needs to be about train weights.
yeah. Hippos to train.com. This is from MLB.com, posted on May 6th, 2 days ago, about 3 changes the Mets can make to its slumping offense. I wanted to discuss this because the Mets were at one point 14-7, and in recent events have lost like 11 of their last 12 games. Not playing particularly good in almost any capacity. Scherzer has been lackluster, and Verlander had his first start that he didn't pitch horribly, but he gave up 2 home runs, and they didn't do much of anything. The bullpen's been atrocious. But aside from the pitching being lackluster, the lineup has just been ice cold. And in this article, it discusses a couple things here. The 3 moves that this author determines that they should make. The first being shifting Starling Marte down the batting order. Marte right now is he bats in like the leadoff to 2 window, and it's a guy, he's a little bit older now, still has some of that speed, but could probably afford to maybe have him shift down. So I definitely agree with that. Another point he makes is giving Brett Beatty and Francisco Alvarez more at bats. These are 2 guys who are your top prospects. Get them involved in the lineup. They're up anyway. The suggestion was kind of like, have Jeff McNeil bat second with a Nimmo at first. Have Beatty bat in the 5 spot to kind of lending some credence to Alonso. So I think that the Mets' biggest issue right now is that it's so top heavy. Once you get past the Lindor, Alonso, it definitely thins out big time. Alvarez has been quiet right now, but I think it's a step up from Nito. Nito played well last year and the year before. Just the Mets catcher's woes have been unbelievable. James McCann, unfortunately, suffered the Mets injury bug, So I can't even say that like his time there was not worth it, because it was. He was just injured. So Neto played the majority of the season, but really he's a guy. He plays just well enough to stay in the major league lineup. Let's be real. So getting Francisco Alvarez more bats definitely kind of helps in that department. And the last point they bring up here is bringing up Mark Vientos from AAA in Syracuse. He's batting pretty well. I only disagree with this point was, because I think that it would just be another bat that is not entirely necessary. Right now, Vogelback is DHing, and he has, I think, 1 or 2 home runs, to date, which when you think of the DH, it's that's kind of synonymous with, they hit home runs. But that's not the case. Like in the way that the lineups are now, you don't have to be a home run hitter to be a DH. I mean, if you get on base and can, move runners around, then you could be a DH. And I think they kind of have that in like a Mark Hanna. Like Mark Hanna is a serviceable, bat, but keep him
against lefty.
But in general, like I think he's a guy that, he's got good baseball IQ. He there's not like an at bat that he's like lost up there. It's always a worthwhile at bat for him. Just for me, like to bring up Vientos would just be like, okay, we're doing this for the sake of doing it. I think there's shifting the way the lineup is would be better than just adding more people on the roster. I feel like
you're not,
but
you got to send somebody.
Well, right. I understand how that works, but what I mean is that just like I'd rather have him continue to play well in AAA, and then let's say maybe in July, when you have foreseeably very similar numbers, then you bring him in.
What position does he play?
Oh, Mark Vientos?
Yeah.
I thought he was a right fielder, but I don't know for sure actually. I have to look that up. But yeah, I think that these are things that would kind of help the Mets a little bit. I always felt that the lineup, even last year, was too top heavy. I think they need to kind of, stretch things out. And so some of these guys are just old. I mean, Starling Marte, namely. But get some young blood in the lineup. Continue to give these guys at bats. There's multiple problems with the Mets right now, but I think this would be one way to kind of shift in the right direction. And it's very easy. And I'm very much, the type of person who does this. Like, hey, I'd rather be bad in May than August, but that's a pretty like dangerous thought, because it's in baseball especially. It's very easy to watch the season slip away. I mean, look at Oakland. Oakland has 6 wins at this point, and like, I'd rather suck in May than August. But like, when you're not playing well,
they have 8 wins, by the way. They have 8.
Oh, forgive me for not forgetting that they don't have.
They need the 2 other wins, dude.
Yeah. But you understand what I'm saying. It's like it's easy to be like, okay, we're sucking now, but it'll get better. And then like it's June, like we had 2 bad months. We'll be better in July.
Did you see the A's attendance at their game last Tuesday?
No, I know it's just been trash in general.
There were more concession workers than fans.
Oh my God.
Like they actually had to send people home during the game because there wasn't enough work.
It's pretty funny. But I mean, the A's are also in a weird spot where like the owner's kind of doing that on purpose. But
But yeah, but this article from Anthony DiComo, I agreed with 2 of the 3 points, and I hope the Mets can kind of turn things around, because getting swept by Detroit and not beating teams like Colorado is a a pretty bad look for the amount of money he spent on that team.
Hey, Kyle loves it.
Yeah, also suck.
Yeah, we're separated by like 2 games right now.
Yeah, but the Phillies have a Tommy John home run hitter.
Yeah. Yeah, come back and talk to me when we have one of those.
All right, Kendall, good job, man.
Thank you.
Who's up next on the book report?
I got it.
All right.
Did you guys get it in the message?
I thought you were. Is that a real thing?
Yeah.
All right.
So the title is TikTok users unethical plane life hack to punish reclined seat passengers goes viral. Full blast. It's by Courtney Moore. Shout out to Courtney.
Guess it's a date, right?
So what they do? Well, what did it do? Hold on 1 second.
Just got to minimize this Pornhub tab.
When you are on a flight and the person in front of you reclines your seat all the way and leaves you no room, turn on the aircon above you on full blast and point it at the top of their head.
That's pretty good. My method is I usually shake the shit out of their chair. I had one fucking lady.
That's what
I tell you, that's something that makes me so mad on planes. It really, really gets to me.
What, when they put the foot up or when they put the
seats back?
Oh, see, what I do is I just put my foot up on their armrest. And I take my shoe off.
But like that really does get me. Like, and I always get it, like when I'm flying to Czech, right? Mm-hmm. And I get it. You know, it's a fucking 8-9 hour flight. But come on, we're all in the same fucking boat here, man. You put your seat back, that fucks up like my tray, and now like everything's just fucked. I get so mad.
Yeah.
When we were coming back from Czech this last time. Now, granted, my last trip out there was a fucking nightmare, but the lady, this girl sitting in front of me, younger girl, maybe early 20s, if that, and she's got her seat leaned back, right? So now they start bringing out the food, and you know I had her put her seat up. So like as soon as she was done, she went to put her, and I was like, "Whoa!" Like I still have my stuff here, and she's like, "Well, how long is it gonna be?" And I was like, "What?" She's like, "I need to sleep." I'd be like, "Bitch, you're not sleeping on this flight now."
It'd be so funny if they had the ability. You know what? Let me get some more food here.
But when me and Tyler went out, the guy in front of me, same thing. As soon as we sat, like full reclined, and I shook the shit out of him. And normally people don't care for that. He kind of looked at me. I was like, "Are we good?" Like, you understand what's happening here?
I mean, you guys definitely, obviously, fly more than I have. What's the most like egregious thing you've like ever witnessed from another passenger?
Oh man, this goes beyond flight. This is one of the worst things I've ever seen. Same trip. This is me and Tyler coming home from Czech, and so the way our flights worked, we had to go from Prague to Istanbul, and then from Istanbul to JFK. So we're on the flight from Prague, or no, this was from Istanbul to JFK. So there's a family sitting, I don't know, maybe 2 rows ahead of me, and I don't know if it matters what ethnicity they were, but it is what it is. So it looked like it was the grandparents, their daughter, and then the daughter's like 2 kids, right? 2 kids are maybe 2-3 years old. They're just running around the plane, jumping on seats. But I'm like, all right, just stay away from me. I look up, to see the grandmother lean into the aisle and then just open face sneeze into the aisle. And now, mind you, this was before, the world now, post-COVID. But I saw it happen, and then Tyler looks at me and goes, "What the fuck was that?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't know, but she needs to be removed." Like, what the fuck? Just, looked out into the aisle, just kapah! I was like, "You dirty bitch."
Need to spray this out into the cabin here.
I think the worst thing I've ever had was it was a flight from Florida back up to Connecticut, and there was a woman who just decided that she was flying with a younger baby, like still an infant, and she just decided that she was going to put her tray table down and the one next to her, and she was just going to change her baby's diarrhea diaper right there on the tray tables.
Yeah, I've caught a few of those.
Sounds very sanitary.
Yeah.
I've only flown twice, and it wasn't that each time.
Well, rub it in, why don't you?
I watched one guy during a layover. He was sleeping on the floor in the airport, which you see that all the time. But this guy had his bare face on the floor.
Nice.
And I walked by and I was like, dude. I mean, you gotta at least put like a shirt down. Like you're just gonna raw dog your face on an airport floor?
Yeah, man. Stones on that guy, huh?
When me and Tyler were at our layover in Istanbul, so in a lot of airports they have escalators and fucking like the walking conveyor belts everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Now in Istanbul there was no escalator; they would just have like inclined ramps. It was actually kind of cool. Now we're sitting in like this cafe thing, and I'm watching this guy walk around on his phone. It looked like he was FaceTiming with somebody, and he wasn't watching where he was going. And he started to walk down the up ramp and almost ate shit real hard.
Oh, man.
These things are cruising. I mean, you figure, like, it's probably going a good 2-3 miles an hour. And if you're not, if you're just standing still, that'll take you out. I almost watched this guy just eat shit. And I was like, come on, man. Go down.
I'd laugh
Usually
pretty good
they
at
do
that.
some cool stuff in airports. There's definitely some interesting stuff that happens in airports.
I watched a guy drop gum out of his mouth on the floor of the plane and pick it up and put it back in.
Oh yeah, I've seen people drop shit and eat it.
Yeah.
I don't think there's enough money, like on any given plane, to get me to do that.
Well, especially like a piece of gum, because it's not like you're just gonna swallow it. You're gonna continue to chew it for a while.
You're just gonna keep that flavor bouncing around.
Like
I did watch one time turn his head and sneeze without covering his mouth, and he shot tons of snot rocket all over the window, and then he just put the shade down. I thought that was funny.
I mean, just to hear that, that's pretty funny.
That is a real baller move right there.
I mean, disgusting, rude, but funny. Just like, all right.
And it was pretty early on the flight too, so it wasn't like it was right at the end, and it was like, this is the next person. It was like this guy pretty much committed to not having a window the rest of the flight.
Yeah. Guess I'm not seeing any cool sights.
There is some stuff I've just seen people do on plane, and it's like, there's no way you live your life like this.
Yeah.
Where you have I totally lost my train of thought there. You just see the craziest things. People going through the security line. They're going to make you take your shoes off. I'll never understand anybody that wears flip flops, and now you're just standing on this dirty fucking floor with your bare feet, and you're just anytime you fly, it's kind of gross anyway. Like everything's gross, and it's like, what the fuck?
I think it's got to be people who they don't fly that often. That they just kind of like, it's like, oh, I didn't realize. Like, I feel like the people who fly often just have all these little tricks down.
I mean, just wear socks. That's
Well,
trick.
Right. Aside from that being like the obvious fix, but just like the people just who know like all of like the, hey, I have a brain and I can fly an airplane life hacks.
Yeah. I tell you, then there's the people that complain about the security line taking too long. That drives me nuts. It's like, hey, they're trying to service like 5,000 people at one time. And, I mean, is this really where you want them to start cutting fucking corners?
Yeah.
Like,
this may shock you. They're doing this for your safety.
Yeah, it's just so ridiculous.
I just thing to the chat. I'll read it since they can't. It's not my article, but I just saw it and thought it was interesting. So it's playoff series records it's LeBron James, and so it's making an argument about how great he is. So it says like Dwayne Wade's playoff record with LeBron is 14-2, and without him is 8-8. Chris Bosh is 14-2, 0-2 without him. Kyrie's 10-2, 2-3. Kevin Love is 11-2 and 1-0. Anthony Davis is 4-1, 1-2. And then so totals are 53-9 versus 12-15. And the caption was, they needed him, he doesn't need them. And I just laughed at it because it was like, well, LeBron's final records without any of those players is 0 for whatever. So with Wade and Bosh, he won 2. With Kyrie and Love, he won 1. And with AD, he won 1. And he's 4 and what is he, Kyle? 4 and what? 9? Or 4 of 9 or something like that?
Yeah.
Because he lost 2 to the Warriors?
2 to the Warriors. He lost to the Spurs.
1 to the Spurs. 2 to the Spurs because he lost 1 to the Spurs when he was in Cleveland before Miami.
That's right, when he was young.
Yeah, so he lost 2 to the Spurs and he lost 1 to the Mavericks. So he's 4 and 5. So 4 of 9. And it's just like, so let's see. Without them, he's over. Just makes
Yeah, that's a weird. It's more. I feel like it speaks more to just, hey, like, if you play a long time and you're good enough, you're gonna play in the playoffs a lot. Like that's what that stats really says.
Yeah.
Robert Horry is undefeated. Is he?
I think so. He's 5-0, right?
He has like 7.
Is it really? I thought it was like 5.
Maybe 5.
It's probably 5.
He's got a lot for a guy that didn't deserve it.
I want to get his jersey just for the sake of having it, even though I've never watched him play.
He was average.
All right, Mark, you ready for your article?
Oh, yeah. Just yawn real quick. I'm going to send in the group chat because my laptop's on the ground.
No problem.
Right.
Is it this one here? It says Tory Black.
So, oh, man, that's a really funny thumbnail picture. It popped up. So I was reading this today at work, and it was kind of interesting, just in the sense of, all right, so the article's about the Colts reportedly asked for NFL tampering investigation of the Commanders over a reported Andrew Luck inquiry. So the overall gist is supposedly last year the Commanders called Andrew Luck about coming back. And if he was to come back, like the Colts still own his rights, so it would be tampering, so on and so forth. Now, in the last couple of years, I mean, this year we saw it, and I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but we've seen teams get like stiff penalties for tampering. So, like, every team knows the fucking deal here. Like, why are they still doing it?
Right.
Like, I mean, the Dolphins just lost their first round pick. There was another team. I can't remember who or what. It was either last year or the year before that have lost pick. Like the tampering stuff, for whatever reason, like the NFL has really taken a fucking stand on tampering, and I don't understand. Like, why are teams still trying to do it? Like, if this comes out, like the Commanders are going to lose a first round pick if they decide, like, oh yeah, they called Andrew Luck. It just doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's funny too because it's more like fuel on the fire for like an organization that's otherwise just like literally been on fire for what seems like 20 years.
Yeah. It makes no sense at all.
Just like everything that's going on with Washington is just like it's just bad after bad after bad, and then
Is he selling the team?
Yeah.
He is?
I think it's already been sold, technically.
Well, I know like there was the people going back and forth, and then like Bezos was going to buy it, but he said no to Bezos.
Well, he won't sell to Bezos because Bezos
of the newspaper.
Because he owns the Washington Post, and he hates the Washington Post.
Yeah. We're like, fuck, man, the money's still green. $7 billion.
right? Yeah, and at that point, like you're just gonna go away. Like, I mean, unfortunately, like with the money you have, it doesn't matter. Like, if I were him, I just want to fade away. Like, I don't want to be in the spotlight anymore.
I think he likes it.
Yeah, you must. I think it's the Colts owner is Jim Irsay, right? That's I don't know. At what point, like, he was kind of like a laid back guy. I feel like recently he's just like been on the attack. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. It just seems like he's positioned himself to like be in like everybody's business recently, and like this is kind of like the best example of that. But I don't know. It's just something that I've noticed. I don't know what the deal is. It seems like he's a really nosy guy all of a sudden.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's got to start to stem from. Do you think when Luck was there, like we were only kind of like waiting for when the Colts were going to win a Super Bowl with Andrew Luck? Like, it seemed like we're just kind of waiting for it to happen, and then he just retires.
Yeah.
And they've been real bad ever since. And I mean, they just drafted what's his name, Anthony Richardson. So I mean, I guess things could be looking up. We'll see, but like, they also could not be. So I think he went from, you figure they went from Peyton Manning to Andrew. Like it was just like, hey, Hall of Fame quarterback to, potentially could have been a Hall of Fame quarterback, back to back.
Right.
And now it's just like, hey, we are real bad. So owners start getting kind of squirrely.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, no, that is. It's just Washington. My God,
It's like the guys that do steroids. They know they're going to get caught.
Yeah.
I don't even know. Like, what could be like what? Like, I don't understand. Like, what's the tampering? Like,
so the tampering thing, at least in this case, is that so Andrew Luck is retired, right?
Yeah.
But the Colts still own the rights to him,
right?
So if the Commanders are calling, like, "Hey, we want you to come out of retirement," they pretty much really the thing they had to have asked the Colts permission to talk to him first. That's really the whole thing. If they got permission from the Colts, then they could talk. But like, until if he ever says, "Hey, I want to come back," his contract is back, like in effect.
Right, but like at the same token, though, it could be like Andrew Luck could call the Colts and go, "Hey, I want to come out of retirement, but only if you'll trade me to the Giants." And the Colts go, "Well, we're not going to trade you to the Giants." And he goes, "Okay, then I'm not going to come out of retirement." And so it's like, I don't know, it just seems kind of stupid.
Because it kind of happened, because I think there was an investigation done on the Bucks when Gronkowski came out of retirement. Because like he came out and then the Patriots traded him to the Buccaneers. But I'm pretty sure they did an investigation to be like, hey,
who made the fucking phone call. Like, I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of stuff that doesn't get punished, and then they pull a first-round pick for a team because they called about a player. Like,
Seems like weird though, because it's like let's just say Perhaha's a wide receiver on the Commanders is like really good friends with Andrew Luck, and he just chats them about it and is like, hey, like, what would you say about coming out of retirement? And it's like how, like, that's just two friends talking.
yeah.
So it's,
but I think like under the CBA, like that's tampering. It's even because they said it can even go deeper than asking him. Like, say if the Commanders called like his dad. Like it said, or like anyone in like his camp, it could still be tampering.
what if Andrew Luck reached out to them first?
I
Like,
think I'm almost certain. And again, we would have to look it up. I think that they would have to tell him, be like, hey, we can't take this call yet. And have to like get permission from the Colts.
I'm just amazed, and this is kind of just a generalized statement. The time that goes by, like, I mean, Andrew Luck hasn't played in a while, and I'm not like downplaying his talent and his ability to, hey, if he would come back, would he be successful? But it's just like these teams going after these players that have been retired for a while. Like, I think the threshold is maybe 2 years. That's just my opinion. But like anything past that, it's like, why are you reaching out to these guys who haven't played in 4 or 5 years for any position?
Yeah.
Like, what do you gain?
I mean, he's been gone 2. He retired 2 years ago.
Is it? It's only been 2.
Yeah, because they had the 1 year of Phillip Rivers, and then last year of everybody else.
The squad they go by.
Speaking of, I just thought is that. Do you guys ever see like those Instagram reels where it's a guy like? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
This is going to be Andrew Luck's 5th year of not playing.
Oh, really?
He hasn't played since 2018. They had the Jacoby Brissett thing too. They had a year of just Jacoby Brissett. And then they had Phillip Rivers for a year. They had Matt Ryan for a year.
Was Matt Ryan last year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So yeah, he retired in 2019.
This will be their 5th year without him.
All right, so right. I mean, I would say 2 did seem short, but I mean, I could be wrong. Yeah, it's just these guys. Like, move on.
Well, hey, when you got fucking whoever they had at quarterback, who was it? Howell?
Something like that.
Yeah, because 2019 it was Jacoby Brissett. Played the whole, well, not the whole season, but I mean, he was the starting quarterback. And then in 2020 was Phillip Rivers. Wasn't Phillip Rivers there for 2 years?
Was it? I thought it was only 1, but I guess it could have been 2.
It might have been 1. I think he signed for 2 and played 1 and retired.
Oh, Carson Wentz played a year.
Oh, that's right. They had that fucking piece of shit.
It was Matt Ryan, Carson Wentz, Phillip Rivers, and then Jacoby Brissett.
That's another guy that wasn't that good.
Hey, Mass.
Gentlemen.
Whoa.
Mass.
Mass, before we dive into my article, do you have a toast?
What has everybody toasted so far that I can make mine?
Well, Kyle took Joel Embiid because you weren't here.
Yeah.
I toasted the Blackhawks for winning the lottery.
Okay.
Mock toasted Derek Jeter for having a son.
Okay.
And Kendall toasted Bartolo Colon and the Mets.
I miss Bartolo Colon Day.
Well, it's every day if you celebrate like I do.
Don't worry, he's round enough where it's coming back.
Aha.
That's fair enough. I guess I'll give a toast of excellence to James Harden, who had one of the students from the Michigan State shooting at the game last night. Flew him out there and has been pretty involved with his recovery. Had a pretty good night last night against the Celtics, and is flying him back out for the next game.
I don't think taking him out to a Philly strip club constitutes his recovery.
Paul, I was trying to make a joke like that. That was, damn it.
Yeah, but you're just not funny enough.
Damn it.
Could you imagine, like, you get shot and then, like, hey, I want to fly you out to this game.
It's like, hey, you know how your family's going through all this trauma and all these other people are going through all this trauma? Well, how about we just go ahead and let you sit courtside? All right. So my article that I posted was for the Connor Bedard being hockey. It's titled Connor Bedard is hockey's LeBron James, and the NHL draft lottery hype is real. And it's by James Dater. Shout out to James Dater. This was published today because, as we talked about, the NHL draft lottery was at 8 p.m. Eastern time this evening, May 8th. And the Chicago Blackhawks won what is known as the Connor Bedard sweepstakes. So he's going to be the number one overall pick in the draft. I mean, whether or not the Blackhawks pick him is still to be said. I can't foresee a situation in which they don't pick him because they're in the complete start of a rebuild after announcing that Jonathan Toews will not be re-signed, trading away Patrick Kane, and kind of cementing the end of that Stanley Cup era franchise. So at the complete beginning of a rebuild, why would you not go for the biggest prospect in, arguably NHL history? So basically, the article really just kind of highlights who he is as a player, why he's like being so sought after. Every year the hype and any sport, with the exception of baseball, there's mega hype around the number one overall pick. We'll have the same conversations in a couple months about Victor Wembanyama, who's the number one overall concise pick for the NBA. We see it, time and time again. We didn't have it as much this year in the NFL draft because there wasn't a concise number one quarterback, and teams could have gone. But we see it year in and year out. It's like just talking about Andrew Luck recently. Like the year Andrew Luck came out, it was like the world knew it was going to be Luck 1, Griffin 2. There's a lot of years where it's like this guy's going to go 1, this guy's going to go 1, and you have to post the articles. So. Bedard is 17 years old. He'll be 18 by the time the season starts next year. When he was 13 years old, he was hello?
Yeah.
Hello?
Oh, I thought I heard someone asking. Okay. By 13, he was already being compared to, Sidney Crosby. NHL greats have already, come out and stated that this guy is like the next generational talent. Martin St. Louis said that this and all of this is subjective. Everybody can be bad and good and whatever, but you don't really hear a lot of you don't hear a lot of NFL players coming out, like retired greats coming out and saying like, oh, this person is going to be, better than me.
Mm-hmm.
But you're seeing a lot of guys coming out and saying Bedard's floor is Sidney Crosby. That's what they're saying his floor is as a player.
Mm-hmm.
Sidney Crosby's pretty good. So if that's the worst you can do, hey, not too shabby.
Yeah.
His last season in the WHL, which was last year, he finished the season with 71 goals and 72 assists on a 143-point effort. He's NHL ready now, which is really, uncommon for 18-year-olds, both, skill-wise, but also maturity-wise. It's really hard to define him exactly how he's supposed to be. But what a lot of people are, kind of relating to is that at 18 years old, he already has Nathan MacKinnon, who, the Avalanche star. He has Nathan MacKinnon's, goal-scoring abilities with Crosby's, play abilities. He's shown in the past that he's not afraid to play defense. He'll forecheck, he'll block shots. Regina last year kind of didn't really let him do that. so much, but he's been known to do it in the past. It'll be kind of once he gets into the NHL, the gloves kind of come off, and it's you're going to play two ways, and they're not really going to do the whole. He'll be protected. Players will drop gloves if someone hits him hard, but he's not going to be afraid to get in the mix. But what he's ready to do is pretty insane. And you're going to see a lot of teams willing to throw away their entire futures to try to get the first pick, even though the Blackhawks need him in the worst way to kickstart their rebuild. This is a player that you're going to see big names being reported as being offered for trade subjects. A lot of like bigger name, older veterans that are nearing the end of contracts and stuff like that. There's going to be a lot of buzz around this guy up until June when the draft happens. He's the biggest hyped player since Connor McDavid came out in 2015, but the hype is bigger than that.
Hey, Paul, would you be mad if they traded him to get Patrick Kane back?
If they traded this kid to get Patrick Kane?
Traded the pick?
Yeah, considering that Patrick Kane's a free agent, so they'd have to trade him to nobody. They basically would just have to give it up.
No. We want him.
Yeah. Patrick Kane kind of made his desires to come back to Chicago pretty clear in his New York Rangers postgame. So don't think they're doing that. Yeah.
That's cool though. It's interesting.
And then it's cool because in Canada that they kind of like the Hockey Canada kind of gives players statuses, which kind of allows them to bypass age restrictions to play in leagues that are above their age. So he wasn't old enough to play in the WHL, but Hockey Canada gave him exceptional status for his skill, which allowed him to bypass the age restriction. And then he went out and started 28 points in his first 15 games.
Pretty good.
Yeah, he also broke Wayne Gretzky's international record by scoring the most goals in a game by a 16-year-old. He scored 4 in his first international game against Austria. So yeah, there you go.
Nice. Massey, did you have an article at all, or?
Texting me separately,
You.
guys.
Oh, wow.
Kendall's texting me separately, talking shit about you guys.
That checks out.
He said that Mox stole the idea to go disc golfing this coming weekend from him.
It's pretty funny.
The real, ripoff was, no one, joined my page up. Kendall Reed Disc Golf on Instagram. I don't have any things posted, but the page exists, and I just feel slighted.
Good.
You say good. Massey, you were saying?
What were the articles that everybody brought?
Mock did the Colts tampering one.
Okay, gotta figure that one out.
Kendall did a Mets lineup one, and Kyle did one about TikToker things.
His favorite TikTok dances.
Yeah, Kyle did them all on video. You missed it.
Man, I tell you what, I'd be pretty upset.
Yeah, Kyle basically did all the Fortnite dances in his pop ones.
I'd be pretty upset if that happened. So there was an article, and I'm just trying to pull it up because I had 3 ready. I'm trying to find where I bookmarked this one. It was talking about the situation that happened during the Suns Nuggets game last night. I wish I could find this easy. Let's see. So while I'm looking for it, for those who aren't aware, last night courtside there was a bit of a incident where the new Suns owner, Matashita, grabbed the ball that had gone out of bounds, and when Jokic went to go retrieve it, he smacked it out of his hands and put his hands on Jokic, to which Jokic shoved him back, and there was this whole hubbub about this. Here we go. It was by Zach Harper and Shams Sharina on The Athletic. So, as of right now, I believe it's come out already that Jokic won't be suspended for the game tomorrow, but he is being fined $25,000. As of yet, nothing has been announced for repercussions against Ishida, but people are talking about how he should have been ejected last night because anybody else it would have been. And where the line, I guess, is drawn between what people are allowed to get away with and what players are allowed to get away with, especially because we've had situations in the past where obviously fans have gotten physical with NBA players, and then NBA players have gotten physical with fans, aka the Malice in the Palace, among other things. So as of right now, there, like I said, has been no other information released on that, but it was a bit of a headache going through trying to figure out where, I guess, what the right thing to do in that situation was, who was in the right and who was in the wrong, and yeah.
Well, it's super interesting, Mass, because it feels like every year, even multiple times a year, but every year at least there's one big thing that sort of happens, and it kind of begs the question about kind of like the proximity of fans to the court. And I don't have a solution about what to change because I don't really know what you could do, because it's just the sport is, it's not designed like hockey where it's like the glass is just it's necessary for for what it is. But it's like, it makes you wonder, like, what could be done to prevent this from happening other than getting rid of courtside seating, like up to, I don't even know how many feet. And I could defer to, both Paul and Kyle, who both kind of like, who played basketball competitively. I mean, the fan bases are different than that of a professional level, but like at least experience it like on the floor as a player, you kind of witness things differently, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that there's another sport that the fans are that close to the, aside from hockey, but there's boundaries there with the glass. I mean, I guess you can say fans are kind of close to the benches for the NFL games, but they're not close to the field or anything like that.
Right. I feel like that. Oh, go ahead.
Somebody was starting to say something. Who was it?
Yeah, who was I? I cut him off.
I didn't hear anybody.
Oh,
Yeah, but
that was weird. Echo from another realm.
I heard it. Anyways.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know if Paul or Kyle, you had any thoughts kind of like from, I mean,
the cop out will always be no one except those guys knows what was said. There's always shit. It's not when you're dealing with the owner of a team, it's not, it's different than just a fan saying something. I think the technical foul in the time was perfectly fine. You can't do anything to the owner in the time because he's not an active person. I mean, like, you can like have him removed from courtside, but like, you can't do anything that's going to actually affect the game.
Yeah.
Technical.
Anybody else they would have removed from the game, except that was the owner.
I think the technical was fine. I think it was the right way to handle it in the heat of the moment. Because there was clearly like it was an altercation, but there was kind of hemming and hawing. It wasn't like he just ran over and attacked him.
Yeah.
It's just it's the playoffs, so it's much to do about nothing kind of thing. the NBA they have to do something because it was an altercation between a non-player and a player, so there's got to be some fine given out. But I think a suspension would have been useless, or not useless. It would have. I mean, it would have helped the Suns obviously, but like it would have looked bad.
Yeah.
There was engagement on both ends, and Isaiah Thomas being in the mix didn't help.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a very odd thing. I feel like wasn't the last like big one kind of involving Drake, or am I misremembering?
No, there was one with LeBron relative. No, Westbrook was probably the most recent one. Bron and Westbrook, I think, this year both had people thrown out from just verbal altercations where they were yelling obscenities at them, but I don't think there's anything physical that's happened recently.
Yeah, it's so strange. I mean, the closest I ever sat at an NBA game is when we went to Philadelphia. That was the closest I sat, and I thought the seats were good. I don't know. I mean, the desire for me to be courtside, I don't think it really is there. I mean, I felt like you could see the game pretty well from almost anywhere. I don't know. It's like
it's just one of those things. Like Massey pretty much put the hammer on the nail there. It's because of his status as team owner.
mm-hmm.
There was a game years back when Melo was retired where the ball like went out of bounds and he got the ball and like pretended to like fake shoot the ball and the crowd went nuts. And like if a fan had done that, he would have been escorted out of the game. It's
right.
Jokic said it in the post game, and he said it perfectly right. If he's sitting courtside, he's a fan. It's Mark Cuban has said it a million times. When he's gotten Mark Cuban's been fined hundreds of times for
I think he's over $3 million in fines right now
for saying things and doing things sitting on the court where he always sits. He doesn't sit up in a press box. He sits down where the fans sit. And his defense is always the same all the time. He goes, if I'm sitting in the crowd, I'm a fan. I'm not an owner. He goes, I'm sitting where the fans sit. I'm sitting where people pay to sit. He goes, whether or not I paid for my ticket is irrelevant. That's where I'm sitting. He goes, if I'm sitting in the press box or in the owner's box and I'm screaming stuff, then you can't find me because it's my box. I own it. And he goes, but if I'm sitting courtside, it is. And so, it's the same thing. If a fan had got the ball and decided to hold on to it and wait for the engagement of a player, the refs would have had him removed from the game for influencing the game. And so it's one of those things where it's like you can't suspend Jokic without causing some sort of repercussion on the Suns. And the thing is you can't, in a playoff situation, you need to sit down and determine what that is. And so you can't suspend Jokic without doing something to the Suns organization. You don't know what you're going to do to the Suns organization, so suspending Jokic isn't fair. If it's a regular season game, you suspend him for a game and you figure it out. It is what it is. But in the playoffs, especially in the 2-2 series, it means everything. This will be a topic of discussion in player and owner meetings in the offseason.
I was thinking about not too long ago, and I was laughing to myself because how ridiculous it would be. Sometimes like when touchdowns are scored, a player will throw into the crowd or give it to someone in the crowd. Imagine if that happened every time you scored a basket in an NBA game.
That's for a lot of balls.
Now the thing is, it doesn't work because the game doesn't stop every time you score. But could you imagine if it did? You get like an easy layup, and you're giving the ball to someone in the crowd every single time.
Yeah, that would be ridiculous. Yeah, that would be rough.
Everyone in the game has a basketball to bring home.
Little fun fact: every single time you see a big playoff series end or a massive comeback win or something like that, and you see the at the end of the game they throw the ball up into the air. You know what I mean? Like the buzzer's ticking down and they just throw the ball high up in the air to end the game.
Yeah.
That player gets fined every time that happens.
Really?
Mm-hmm. It's not a big fine, but it's a fine. They do it to keep them remembering that intentionally putting a ball out of play like that is it's a finable offense.
That's funny.
If you just threw the ball, because technically, if you watch a game, the ball is deemed out of bounds, contact with something out of bounds. Like that's why like the back edge of the backboard is considered out of bounds. So when the ball bounces off the back edge of the backboard, even if it goes straight up, they blow the whistle. On the top of the backboard is fine, but the back edge of it, But if the ball gets deflected and it flies over the announcer's table, it doesn't get blown dead till it gets hit in the crowd. Once it makes contact with something that's out of bounds, that's when the play is dead. So I mean, imagine the end of it, you're just fucking you just fucking throw the ball into the front row of the crowd. Mm-hmm. Toss it high up in the air. Team players would do shit like that all the time. Players are always finding a way to cop out of shit.
Yeah.
Yep.
So. All right, Reader. What else you got on your docket? Anything else to round out the show with before we sign off?
I got one thing here. I don't know if it's something we could, if you guys are interested to talk about. TV shows that you really like and stuff you stand by, but like taking a good hard look at it and and thinking about stuff. I don't like certain things about it, and I can give you an example. For me, like a TV show, like I'm a big sitcom guy and this and that, and I really want one thing. Even if the writing is terrible, I want that continuity. I want the same story to be told, the same people playing the same people, this, that, and the other. And I hold The Office at a pretty high regard for a lot of reasons. It's a very funny show. I think they do a good job. But the one thing that I really dislike about it is there's a lack of continuity in a lot of things. And I get it. The television's tough. You can only there's only so many things you control, but just things that are somewhat avoidable. I know Mock and Paul are pretty versed in The Office. Certain things that drive me nuts are Pam's mom is not the same the first time you meet her versus the later times you see her in the season. Now, perhaps they couldn't get her. They couldn't get the same person. But stuff like that, I think in the early seasons, there's I don't know if it's Kevin has a daughter and a fiance, but there's not really any talk of the daughter in later episodes.
Well, so for that one specifically, Kevin mentions that Stacy left him, and that was just.
And so that was just Stacy's kid,
Stacy's daughter, and he was dating Stacy. And then he said there's an episode where he says Stacy left him, and then I think that was right around that time, the Valentine's Day episode, where Michael holds the Lonely Hearts Club meeting or whatever. So that one is talked about. And here's the thing, because Kevin's a C character, so it's you're not going to go into, you're not going to spend a lot of time going into depth about what his relationship with her was like, and does he still see her and whatever. If that was the situation where Ryan had done something like that, it would have been brought up or something.
Sure, yeah, that's fair.
And then from listening to the Office Ladies podcast, when they did the episode with the new Pam's mom, the old Pam's mom was shooting a movie and they couldn't get her. So it was a choice between recasting or just not having the role, and the writers liked the role.
Right. And I understand, not everything is perfect. It's not even I'm not even accusing them of laziness. It's just, there's certain things in a show, and there are more egregious examples in other shows. They just don't care. Especially
All right, so I'll give you my example if you want.
Sure.
All right. So Kyle, are you still here, Kyle? No.
So no.
All right.
Silencio.
Kyle's a big fan of, I don't know if anybody else is, but Criminal Minds, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'm a big fan of Criminal Minds. I like the show. I'm not really a big cop show guy. I don't really watch a lot of Law and Order or anything like that, but I like Criminal Minds. And one thing that I wish, like, like those types of shows would do that I think would entice me a little bit more is the only ones I've ever really seen do it are like Chicago Med and PD and like the Fire one and all that.
Yep.
Like involve their personal lives more. Like it's always annoyed me that like they keep the personal like live aspect going enough to like have there be some sort of like continuation of character development, but like if you're going to sit down and watch one of the 29 seasons of Law and Order SVU, like I would just like to sit down and watch it and like watch more like in depth like what's going on with the characters versus like just the crime stuff.
Right. It's especially too because like a show that's been on as long as it is, like the characters have been around, and it's like you end up like knowing nothing really about the characters at all. It's just situationally what's going on.
Right. It's like so like in Criminal Minds, there's just like there's subtlety to it, and like like there'll be little glimpses into like backstory of certain things here and there, and like whatever, and like this and that, but like they don't really like dive into it a lot, and it's like like you're getting invested. You're watching a show, so like Criminal Minds, for example. I like Criminal Minds more than the majority of police shows or detective shows because like I like the cast, like I like the actors and actresses they put together in the show and the way they portray their characters. But like so for that reason, like I kind of want to get more invested into their story.
Yeah, no,
a decent job of it, which is probably why I like it more. But like I feel like you can watch like 20 episodes of Law and Order in a row and like you don't like learn anything about like Olivia Benson at all, like anything about her character other than like other than it being relevant to like the case they're working on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I find a show kind of what you're talking about that does a great job doing that, and you turned me on, I'm pretty sure, to that show is Ted Lasso, which is kind of books itself sort of as a comedy, but in using this most recent season example, I'd find myself not laughing as much, but I'm just so involved in the characters because there's just so many levels to it. Each character, whether it's a main or secondary, there seems to be a storyline involved that you're just so engaged at every episode. It's very well thought out and put together that like the comedy becomes secondary. It's just to the thing you want in like Law and Order. It's there.
Mock, you were telling me about this gripe you had with an anime series you've been watching.
I'm sorry?
Did I just wake you up?
No. I had my thing muted because I was sneezing.
I said you were telling me about this gripe you had with some anime series you've been watching lately.
I believe you have me confused with somebody.
I don't think he's going to go with the bit, Paul.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Well, I was watching Tentacle Hadouken, and I have a lot of problems with that show.
That's very funny.
Tentacle
if you weren't the one recording, I would absolutely kick you right now.
Full Hadouken. That's some good stuff right there. I mean, there's like other shows where like, so like I'll give you an example. Well, like I mean, the biggest gripe I'll always have in the world is like whether it's due to like contract negotiations or strikes or like whatever, like a show just kind of ends and there's no resolution.
Yeah.
That's like a big gripe I'll always have, but that's that's like nobody wants that. It's just the nature of being business. But like I'll always be baffled when like I'll watch a show and I'll get invested into it and love it, but I would never watch any other shows like that. Like I don't know if you guys are familiar with the show Scorpion.
I know what show you're talking about, but I haven't watched it.
So Scorpion is a show. It's about like following like the lives of like four like really like high IQ geniuses. Like they're so smart and intellectually gifted that they lack social skills and the ability to like communicate with the outside world.
Mm-hmm.
And so like the show basically like follows them. Like they become like a kind of like a subcontracted branch of the government to like kind of like solve like 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 situations that like require high IQ, like like fucking stopping like a missile launch from like a what was supposed to be like a retired missile community type thing or something like that, like just shit like that.
Mhm.
I would never fucking watch that show in a million years. You described that exact situation to me. I'm like, yeah, that sounds awful. I'm not gonna watch that. But that show, like, I just can't not watch it. Can't watch it. Can't not watch it. If it's on, I got to see it. I got to watch that episode. It's I think it's the characters. I don't know what it is because, like, honestly, I find myself watching. I'm like, man, she's such a bitch. Oh, he's so whiny. But, like, I just can't not. I can't turn it off. Baffles me.
That's fair. I mean, I've had stuff like that.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. I can't do it.
I think of all like the bad sitcoms I've watched just because. I mean, I'm watching one right now. Like, Fox has this show. It's called Animal Control, and like, I like Joel McHale. I don't know if you guys are kind of familiar with him. He was in Community, and I like him. And like, the show is not that great, but like, I'm watching it just because of like him, and it's like this is terrible, but I'm sticking with it.
I was gonna say that too. Any show that's completely carried by one character. Like for me, if Donald Glover wasn't on Community, I would have never watched any episodes of it ever.
And I tell you, I mean, I love that show very much, and it killed me so much when Chevy Chase was no longer on it because that was like the best character.
I also hate shows that whether it be comedy, drama, whatever, but shows that like come out and are just like, it's just like, oh, like look at this cast we have. I don't like watching shows that like are comprised of like an already successful ensemble because it seems too forced. It seems like, oh, we're gonna laugh at this because this person, like, that's why I hate 30 Rock. Like, because like 30 Rock was like Tina Fey was already big, Alec Baldwin was already big, Tracy Morgan, like these guys were already like well established members of their communities. And it's like I'm watching. It's like I'm not like Tracy Morgan's like, to me Tracy Morgan is so unfunny in 30 Rock, and he's so funny in real life.
Yeah,
Like everything else he does, I find so funny. But like Alec Baldwin, like I just find his character so cringy because it's like, oh, like you're gonna laugh at this because it's Alec Baldwin. Like I don't think The Office would have worked if they started it in 2009 after Steve Carell. Like, I mean, I know Steve Carell's like blow up was more because of The Office, but like what made The Office so good was that like Steve Carell got a blow up from it. Like,
I mean, The Office was about to get canceled because no one liked him until the 40-year-old virgin.
Right, and so so it's like it was an unknown ensemble that became big. Same thing with like Friends. Friends was an unknown ensemble. Like, I mean, I think the only one that you could really make the case for would be like Seinfeld. Would be like kind of the opposite. Like Jerry Seinfeld was like more well-known name at the time for his stand-up routines. But the show, like, they did a good job. Like, he did a good job in writing the show, where it was kind of like, it was more of like hey, this is kind of like a television scripted version of my life versus like, like a sitcom that I'm just happening to star.
So I do like 30 Rock, but I understand the point you're making because like it's a show that because of its connections, because its affiliation with the SNL universe or whatever, it has the ability to kind of like draw on, okay, we can get any notable person, no problem, and just insert it into our storyline, and it'll be fine because we have that just ability, we have that network of money, and it's a crutch in a way. And like there are a lot of jokes in that show that I like a lot, but I think you take away some of those big people, and I think you kind of have like a skeleton of a show. I understand kind of what you're getting at.
Yeah.
I think we lost Souls, but Massey, do you have anything?
Nothing I can really think of. I mean, there are shows that I don't know why that I get hooked on watching, but I wouldn't say that it's like for continuity reasons or anything like that. Like, for whatever reason, you guys ever watch that show? I think it's on USA, Suits.
I know Suits. I've never watched it, but I know Suits.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say Burn Notice, and I'm going to be like, Kyle's going to be pissed.
Right.
Now, Burn Notice, I at least know why I like watching that. It's entertaining.
It's a bad show.
It's not great, but it's entertaining. No, Suits is just. There's no reason why I should like it, but like in small little snippets, I do. I don't like most of the characters. I really don't know why I've found myself watching some episodes, but it's one of those things that the more that I watch, it's like, I guess.
That Meghan Markle.
Yeah.
Wrong.
More so, whatever the girl's name that plays Donna is.
Don't care for that.
Why is that?
I'm
Man,
sorry. That
Really
gotta be
murdered
good.
Kendall.
That gotta be good.
Yeah, I can't really think of anything that I watch that I don't know why I enjoy it or have issues with. For the most part, I don't watch a whole lot of sitcoms or anything like that. Or even really TV shows in general. If I get to a point where I start not liking it, I just stop watching it.
That's fair. That's fair. All right, we'll wrap it up. Matt, sorry that we couldn't get you for the whole show. Hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, a little bit, but thank you. I appreciate it. Sorry I was late.
Always next week.
Always next week.
Any closing remarks? Anybody have anything they want to say?
Yeah, nothing.
Nope.
All
We'll
right.
watch some of that tentacle Hadouken later.
Souls.
Hope you guys will all watch the NHL draft with me and watch me come like a little kid. And
Weird way to say that.
yeah, you know, fucking skip like a dick.
Man, I was just going to say it. That was funny.
We were playing disc golf, and I was just like, man, that disc skips like a dick. And Mark's like, I've got to be honest, I don't know what that means.
And I don't really know. But all right.
Yeah. All right. Well, Mark Sheen, where can they find us?
Find us on Facebook at Getting Sports with Drunk, Twitter and Instagram at GSWD_4.
Make sure to use the hashtag GSWD for all your daily uses, whether it's zoning out on us on the podcast souls, or, you know, stealing all your friends' ideas, reader.
I don't care for
Like,
that.
comment, subscribe on Podbean, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. Kendall stole our ideas.
Unbelievable.
Oh, and Matt, you missed. We did shot trivia, and Kendall got 3 consecutive train questions wrong.
And they were pretty
Believe that.
easy ones.
Yeah,
I think it was more math than anything.
it wasn't math. It was giving a number. That's not math. Saying a number isn't math. I fell asleep. Was that Kyle?
Yeah.
Well, all right. And anyway, catch us next week with another great episodic version of Getting Sports with Junk. But until I'm your hostess, Cupcake the Riddler.
I'm Mark.
Dishwasher safe.
Oh.
I'm sleepy.
The Master's Nasty.
And the Red of Red Baron, who had Molson's Canadian, by the way. It was very tasty. I enjoyed it very much. 5% ABV. Big shout out to the Riddler. And very underutilized beer.
I was
Definitely.
really
Was
hoping.
muted.
I was really hoping if we were fast enough, we were going to get through. I was going to see if we could get Kendall catch him off guard.
Tasty beer. Very underrated. Should have it a lot more. Red of Red Baron. Yeah, frozen pizza. This and that and the other. Yeah.
Yeah.